Today, we're going to dive into a landmark legal case that all boils down to one fascinating question. A question that really gets to the heart of what it means to be honest in business.
Just think about that for a second. Is it possible to say something that is, word for word, 100% accurate, but you're still lying? You know, it sounds like a riddle, but it is a very, very real problem.
And yeah, the answer is a resounding yes. It's not only possible, but it can land you in a world of legal trouble. So today, we are unpacking the story of how a half-truth sparked a court battle that pretty much changed the rules of negotiation for good.
Now our story kicks off, like so many do, with what seemed like a fantastic can't-miss opportunity. I mean, it had all the makings of a perfect deal. So let's meet the Krakowskis. Now, like any smart investor, they weren't just buying a building. They were buying security. They were looking for a steady, reliable stream of income from their investment.
And on the other side of the table, you've got Eurolinks Properties. They've got a valuable asset they want to sell. And in the Krakowskis, they found a very eager buyer. So far, so good. It looks like a simple win-win.
But here it is. This is the absolute linchpin of the whole thing. For the Krakowskis, this wasn't just some minor detail on a checklist, it was everything. They absolutely had to know that those rent checks would be coming in month after month, year after year. No strong tenant, no deal. Simple as that.
And this right here is where a single sentence, a carefully crafted statement, would set the entire disastrous chain of events in motion.
Ah, there it is, the magic phrase. This was exactly what the Krakowskis needed to hear. A strong tenant with a long-term lease. It checked all their boxes. This was the green light they were waiting for.
So they signed on the dotted line, feeling confident, feeling secure in their investment. But then the story takes a very sharp, very expensive turn. The tenant, the entire foundation of this deal, defaults on their rent and just packs up and leaves. The Krakowskis are left holding a very empty, very costly building.
And this is where the whole thing just completely unravels. The Krakowskis start digging around, and they uncover the truth. See, yes, Eurolinks had gotten a tenant to sign a long-term lease. That part was technically true. But what they conveniently didn't mention was that they'd offered that tenant a massive secret side deal, including 3 months of free rent, just to get them to sign the paperwork. The tenant wasn't strong at all. They were just baited.
Well, as you can imagine, this discovery sent them straight to court. And this case wasn't just about a broken contract. It became a showdown over the very nature of truth in business.
This was the central question the High Court of Australia had to wrestle with. I mean, Eurolinks argued, hey, we didn't lie. A tenant did sign the lease, just like we said. But the Krakowskis' argument was, yeah, but by leaving out the secret deal, you created a completely false picture of the situation.
The entire business community was watching this one. The court's decision here wasn't just going to affect these two parties. It was going to set a massive precedent for how business gets done, period.
And the court came back with this landmark idea, the distortion of a positive representation. Now, I know, it's a bit of a mouthful, but the concept behind it is actually simple and incredibly powerful. It basically says you can't just state a technical truth if you know that by leaving out other key facts, you're creating a totally misleading impression. And wow, this quote from the court just nails it. A statement which is literally true may nevertheless be false if it creates a misleading half-truth. In other words, a half-truth is a whole lie. And if you do it on purpose, it has serious legal consequences.
So the court sided with the Krakowskis big time. They ruled that Eurolinks' statement, even though it was literally true, was a fraudulent misrepresentation. Why? Because it was deliberately designed to paint a false picture. And because of that, the Krakowskis were able to tear up the contract and get all their money back.
Okay, so why are we talking about some Australian real estate case from 1995 today? Well, because the principle it established is more relevant now than ever before.
This idea of the half-truth goes way beyond just this one case. Think about it. In any of these areas, from a massive corporate merger to a simple job offer, everything is built on trust. You're relying on the information you're given to be the whole picture. When someone gives you a half-truth, they're not just being clever, they're fundamentally breaking that trust. And that's why in any big negotiation, telling only the convenient part of the story isn't just bad form. It could be illegal.
So what's the big takeaway for you here? It's really about playing the long game. First, disclose fully. Don't just give the literal truths. Share the relevant context. Second, think about the impression you're creating. Step back and ask yourself, am I painting an honest picture here? And third, document everything. This isn't just about covering your bases, it's about making sure everything is crystal clear for everyone involved. It's a higher standard of honesty, for sure, but it's the one that builds real, lasting success.
And that really leaves us with a final thought to chew on. The legacy of this case is a challenge to all of us. It asks us to look beyond just the words we say and to focus on the full story we're telling. Because in business and in life, what you don't say can sometimes shout louder than what you do.